This week? Gus asked. When you called me and asked for an impromptu meeting, this isn't quite what I was imagining. Well, what are you imagining? Dusk inquired curiously. Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I certainly not that you were releasing your album at the end of the week, Gus chuckled. If you were releasing it on Friday, that's only 4 days. Are you saying we shouldn't? Thorn looked confused. Not at all, Gus assured. There is no right time to release an album. It's all up to the artist and the vision they have for the album. If no one knows that what better for the art than the artists themselves. Oh, okay. So you think it's the best idea for us to release it now? Luna attempted to rephrase it. Gus chuckled. How many times do I have to say, it's not what I want, it's what you want? Why exactly do you want to release the album now? I just got a gut feeling that now is the best time, Thorn explained. The amount of interest in our music is growing every day, and we have to capitalize on that before the interest fades. Releasing an album so suddenly is only going to increase the interest. Besides, it feels like we've been working on the album for so long, Dusk added. Now that journey has finally come to an end, we're ready to share it. That's excellent reasoning, girls, Gus explained. I continue to be proud of you girls. You've made up a huge amount of progress on this album in a month, and it's impressive how much work you've put into this. Thanks, Gus, Thorn appreciated. Yeah, we really appreciate you being so supportive, Dusk thanked. Is there anything left we need to do? Luna questioned. Nothing that's required, but there's a number of things you can do to further promote your album, Gus suggested. You could record an announcement about the album coming out on Friday to be played on radio stations, which they can broadcast every time after Hexed plays. That's a great idea, Dusk exclaimed. Excellent, Gus replied. I think that'll be quite helpful spreading the word that your album's coming out. If I could just find it where I could put my tape recorder. Gus dug in and threw a bit at the bottom of the drawer of his desk, before exclaiming, Aha! There it is! I am ready to now begin recording when you girls are. We're ready, Dusk said, looking at the other two bandmates, who gave her their nods of agreement. 3, 2, 1, Gus counted down, as he pressed the record on the button on top of the tape recorder. We're the Hex Girls, the 3 girls all said at once, and we're excited to announce the release of our debut album, Hex Girl, Thorn chipperly stated. You can now get our band new album stores this Friday, Luna elaborated. You won't want to miss this, because it's gonna be wicked. Dusk put out an extra emphasis on her final word. Gus pressed the stop record on the tape recorder. Wonderful, girls, Gus exclaimed. I'll send out the recording studio stations later this afternoon, after I send out the request to put your CD in production. If I get the request out today, what should barely enough time to have it in stores by Thursday night for the release on Friday. Thank you so much, Gus, Luna responded. Is there anything else we should do to promote our album? Thorn inquired. Well, perhaps one other thing. Gus looked thoughtful. Do you girls happen to have any performances around town this week? Just one. We're scheduled to perform at the coffee shop tomorrow afternoon after our work shifts, Dusk responded. Well, besides obviously mentioning the album release at that performance, maybe you should try and schedule another performance this week before the album's release, as another method of performing the album to town. I know you girls and Jack know each other well, especially that how Dusk is a waitress there. Perhaps you could ask him, Gus suggested. Sure, I think Jack would love to have us perform sometime this week, Thorn replied. It always helps to boost his business. Stupendous, Gus exclaimed. I am glad you girls came to talk with me today. If it's all right with you, even though we've already met this week, I still like to meet on Thursday just to talk about how you girls are feeling of releasing your first album, and answer any last-minute questions you might have. Well, we'd love that, Thorn smiled. Thanks again for the meeting with us in such a short notice. It was my pleasure, Gus exclaimed. As the girls departed the manager's office, they still couldn't believe that before the week ended, their first album would be released for the world to see. Thorne could tell that the weather was beginning to get colder. The black-haired goth could feel a cold chill in her legs, as well as the brisk breeze swaying her hair back and forth, and she and Luna walked into Jack's. I wonder if Dusk has talked to Jack about the concert yet, Luna wondered out loud. Looks like we're about to find out, Thorne said, as Jack came out of the kitchen, heading towards him. Hey girls, Jack greeted. Dusk just told me about your concert, and I want to let you know that I'd love for you to perform here. I suggest 6 p.m. tomorrow, and Dusk said it works for her well. Does that work for you too? Yep, that works for us, Luna replied. The three bandmates were almost always together anyway, so generally if something worked on for them, it worked for all of them. Great, Jack exclaimed. I'm so glad that you girls are putting out your first album. I still remember the day Thorne's mom told me that you and Dusk were going on a band camp for the first time, and now look how far you've come. Yeah, Thorne nodded, with a subdued tone in her voice. Jack of course didn't really mean any harm, but it definitely caused a pang of sadness to have that memory brought up. It was not that so long after returning from the band camp that her mother had tragically passed away. Here's your sandwich, ma'am. Please let me know if you need anything else. Thorne could hear Dusk saying that a few tables away. Once Dusk finished serving the woman, she headed towards Thorne and Luna. Hey, you did it without dropping the sandwich on the floor this time, Luna teased, causing Thorne to giggle. Out of the corner of her eye, Thorne could have swore she even saw Jack snickering a bit while trying to hide it. Dusk rolled her eyes. For your information, I've actually been getting much better at waitressing. I haven't even dropped anything all week. Are you almost done with your shift, Dusk? Luna asked. We have to get to Haley's by 1:30 for our concert. Yeah, Dusk checked the clock to see if it was just a few minutes before her shift was up. Just let me grab my coat and hang up this apron. Oh, and I keep forgetting to mention this to you guys, Thorne suddenly remembered. But I looked up our earnings from our jobs last night, and as of today, we've made enough money to pay off the car repair charge off of the credit card. That's awesome, Luna exclaimed. No thanks to that asshole and Larcom Feedier making us pay an extra $135, Dusk sneered. That's wonderful, girls, Jack smiled, while looking into that he was hiding a bit of disappointment. So I guess that means you won't need to work here anymore then? Oh, well, I won't mind working here any longer, Dusk replied. Thorne wasn't really sure if she was being truthful, or just saying it because she could tell that Jack was sad. It's a great source of extra money, and it gives us a little bit of variety instead of just sitting at home all day. Yeah, Luna nodded. I wouldn't mind continuing to work with my dad. Me either, Thorne acknowledged. She wasn't trying to spare Jack's feelings either. She was being completely truthful. I have really come to enjoy my routine, actually. So you'll keep working here and helping me out? Jack looked excited. Yeah, of course, Dusk smiled. That's great, Jack excitedly exclaimed. Everyone in town knew that Jack sometimes struggled running the restaurant mostly on his own, since he only had his other waitress, Caitlin, to help out in the evenings. Dusk liked Jack and the other certain nostalgic around his restaurant. Her parents took her there all the time when she was younger, so Dusk felt a quite bit happy whenever she was in Jack's. Thorne assumed that it was a place for comfort for her. Well, we'll see you later tonight, Jack, Thorne said. We've got to get to our concert. Have a wonderful day, girls. I'll see you tomorrow, and I can't wait for the concert. Jack waved, just as the girls were leaving. Thankfully, Haley's was only a couple blocks away from Jack's, so it didn't take long for them to get there. Did you mean about something wanting to keep working at Jack's? Thorne curiously got the better of her. Yeah, of course I did. Dusk looked a little bit surprised. It's fun helping Jack out, and I'm just starting to get the hang of the job. Besides, he clearly needs the help. He seemed to be able to keep an eye on top of the customers pretty well, but he struggles a bit at the lunch rush. That's when the busiest time is. I'd like to keep working for my dad too, Luna agreed. Things have been really busy lately, since everyone's trying to get their appointments in before it gets too cold. My dad clearly likes to help too, Fawn replied, as she unlocked the soccer mom van to get into the driver's seat. Luna got in the front passenger seat, while Dusk squished herself between the instruments in the back. If we're gonna have this extra income now, maybe we could do something special to celebrate, Dusk suggested. We're releasing our first freaking album in 3 days. We can't even do nothing. I love that idea, Luna complimented. Maybe we could have our album release party or something. I don't think that we're that big yet, Fawn complimented. No, that's not what I mean. Luna rolled her eyes. I'm talking about inviting our families and a few friends around town over. Jack, Bridget, Sam, Nia, and of course Gus. Without him, none of this would have been possible. We could invite all of them over for some drinks and appetizers and just listen to the album together. It'll be fun, a little way to accommodate some of the special occasion. That sounds really fun, Dusk agreed, as Fawn pulled the van over into the parking spot. Oh my gosh, we should really totally do that, Fawn exclaimed in excitement. Hey! A familiar voice interrupted. Fawn looked up to see Bridget, standing next to Nia and Sam. Oh hi, Fawn returned the greeting. I heard from my dad that you guys are releasing your first album on Friday, Bridget exclaimed. Shh, Sam shush. Don't ruin the surprise. It's not a surprise, Sam, Nia rolled her eyes. They want people to know they're releasing the album. Yeah, we just decided that since we had all of our songs done, there is no reason to wait any longer to release it, Dusk explained. The reaction they've just gotten to Hex Girl is so amazing, so that they felt now was the time to get the gifts to the fans for the rest of the albums, Fawn elaborated. That's so freaking cool, Sam exclaimed. Hey girls, Haley said, in a substitute voice, although she could be a bit firm at times. The girls were quite liked her and appreciate her willingness to regularly have them perform. Thanks for performing here again. You could set up in your normal spot. Sounds great, Fawn responded. Oh hey Bridget, Nia and Sam. We're planning on having an album release party in our apartment. I was thinking tomorrow night at 7. We love it if you come, if you're not too busy. Of course we're not too busy, Bridget gasped. Yeah, we'll be fine there, Nia responded. We wouldn't want to miss an album release party in honor of our favorite band in the world. So is this party going to be open to the public? Haley inquired. There's a rare sense of inquietude in her voice. It's just for friends and family, but if you'll be welcome if you want, Fawn suggested. It's our apartment at Oak Haven Heights at 7 tomorrow. Sure, I'll be there. The girls lugged their instruments over to the main stage area, as one of the bar sets had stopped them. Hi, can I come too? Barra inquired. Sure, you can come, Dusk invited. That's awesome. I'm so glad to see you girls again. Can I get you girls anything to drink? The Barra inquired. Fawn quickly refreshed herself on the woman's name by checking the name tag, which read Anne. Are you gonna get us another milkshake again? Dusk teased Fawn and Luna. Or are you gonna try a real coffee? I'll try real coffee if you try my milkshake. I mean, it's one of our drinks, Dusk heckled a bit. Yeah, me too, Luna piggybacked. It's a deal. Dusk looked defiant. What type of milkshakes do you recommend? Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry? You joke, but it do actually have those flavors. Mocha, vanilla bean, and strawberry, and white latte, Luna chuckled. Dusk simply rolled her eyes and ordered as she followed Anne to the ordering counter. I'll have a medium blended strawberry white latte, Dusk ordered in a sassy voice. She wants that with soy milk, by the way, Dusk chimed in. And with extra shot of espresso, Luna added to tease her friend. While you're at it, put some whipped cream on the top, Fawn added. Anne looked at Dusk with a confused look, as if to indirectly ask if she wanted all these things. Yeah, and all that added stuff up too. It will only prove even more that your drinks aren't real coffee, Dusk sassed. Did you want that with chocolate drizzle on the top? Anne asked. Oh, for Christ's sake, Dusk swore, before recomposing herself. Yeah, put the chocolate fuzz drizzle on too. What about for you two? Anne inquired. I'll just have a plain coffee, Fawn ordered. Me too, Luna said. Can I get creamer container with that? Oh, no, you can't, Dusk immediately snapped before Luna could answer. Cream or Dooley's the coffee. If you're gonna do this, you'll have to drink it black. Okay, never mind. Just a black coffee. Luna rolled her eyes. Jeez. That'll be $4.78, and rung up their orders. I've got it, Thorne offered as she handed Barca the $5 bill. 22 cents is your change, Anne said, as she handed Thorne the 2 dimes and 2 pennies in return. Your drinks will be ready in a minute. In the meantime, feel free to set up. We better get set up quick. Thorne, look, Luna pointed at the time. The clock read 1:22. Oh shit, Thorne realized. She quickly scrambled up to unzip her guitar from its case and plug it into the amplifier. Luckily, Thorne's instrument doesn't take particularly long to set up, compared to the other 2 girls. Thorne, Dusk, Luna, Anne's voice called from the counter. Your drinks are ready. I can grab them, Thorne offered as she shuffled over to grab the drinks from Anne. Thanks, Anne. You're welcome. I'm looking forward to the performance, Anne smiled. Thorne hurried back over to hand Luna and Dusk the coffees in return, taking a sip of her own in the process. It's fine, Thorne shrugged. At least it has its flavor, even if it's not an exciting one. Eck! Luna choked down her own coffee. This tastes terrible. At that moment, Thorne and Luna glanced over at the mother and her child, who could have been more than 11 or 12 years old. The child appeared to be asking to take a sip of the mother's coffee. It tastes like burnt ashes, Mommy, the child cried. I'm with that kid, Luna chuckled. Oh my god. Dusk's face lit up as she tried hers. Is that good, oh my god, or a bad one? Thorne laughed. It's so freaking good! Dusk put out the extra emphasis on the swear, apparently to denote how good it was. So it's not just stupid milkshakes to you anymore? Luna smirked. I don't care what it is. This is some good shit right here, Dusk said, taking another huge slurp of her drink. A quick check of the large clock above the wall of the fireplace showed Thorne that it was time to start the concert. Hi everyone! Before we start performing today, we've got a very special announcement, Thorne began. We've been working on it for over a year, but now our debut album Hexed is coming out on Friday, Dusk excitedly announced. Typically when the girls performed at Haley's, most people simply just kept working on whatever they were doing. This time, however, a number of people looked up from their work and began clapping. Thorne scanned the room a bit only to see a few people at the coffee shop. The same girl with braided brown hair had seen a couple weeks ago, who was about their age, wearing an amber-colored sweater with a leaf on it. An older gentleman in the blue button shirt up. The mother and her child from earlier. Another teenage girl that was slightly younger than them, wearing the red t-shirt, reading Salem State. And lastly, the 2 men in business suits, who appeared to be having some sort of formal discussion, but the 2 other businessmen clapped. Thank you, Thorne smiled. Now it's time for our performance. Hit it, sisters, Dusk shouted, seeming more excited than usual. Thorne presuming it was how quickly she drank the coffee. Glancing over at Dusk's cup, most of it was already gone. While the patrons of the coffee shop continued to look down and focus on whatever they were doing, the girls began performing and playing the notes of Petrified Bride. Thorne couldn't believe how quickly this week was flying by. Another day had passed, and only 2 more remained days until the Hex Girls released their first album. Once that the girls walked into Jack's with Bridget, Nia, and Sam following, it hit Thorne a little harder than it had before, as this would be the final concert they had before they released their album. Oh my god, can you believe that this is the last concert before we release your album? Bridget exclaimed, in a incredibly excited voice. Thorne sometimes found the girls' excitement a bit over the top, and indeed quite accomplished to the girls that they were finally releasing their first album. Bridget acted as if Friday marked their second day of coming Jesus. It's pretty exciting, Thorne smiled. Girls, long time no see, Jack chuckled, as he had just seen them at least less than 4 hours ago during Dusk's shift. Although the girls had decided to return home for a few hours before the concert in order to save a bit of downtime and grab their instruments. I was telling Caitlin that I wanted to get you girls dinner on the house tonight to celebrate the release of your first album. That's really sweet of you, Jack, Luna smiled. Here you are, girls. Caitlin, Jack's other waitress, and sat down the free plates of burgers on the top of the booth, where they usually sat and ate lunch. Oh wow, I wasn't expecting them so quickly, Dusk said in surprise. Thank you, Thorn appreciated. Can we get you free anything? Caitlin inquired of the free non-band members, otherwise known as Bridget, Nia, and Sam. No, we're good, Sam assured. We ate before we came, Nia elaborated. So your girls are going to start working on the second album right away on Monday? Bridget asked. Thorn fought the urge to chuckle. Sure, they were dedicated to their music, but they weren't really machines. I'm not sure, Dusk shrugged. I guess we haven't thought about it yet. For some reason, Thorn realized that the thought never had crossed her mind either. They were never focused on putting out their first album, or they had been so focused on that they hadn't really thought too much about a second one. Thorn imagined that they would take a short break to enjoy the success for a while, maybe even find some creative ways to promote their first album. Perhaps they've seen even a music video for the other song. The girls already decided to make Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air the second single. It was just a matter of time when it was still open to decision. Well, we probably should do some promotional stuff before moving on to the second album. Gotta bask in the glory of the first album for a little while, right? Thorn joked. Heck yeah, get it, girls? Nia exclaimed, before pausing a minute. I mean, girls. This burger's delicious, Luna commented, as she took somewhat of a larger bite out of it. Thank you again for treating us for free burgers, Jack, Thorn ensured that they thanked Jack as he scrambled to take another booth's order. Of course, girls, it's my pleasure, Jack joyfully remarked. Dusk, Luna, and Thorn quickly scarfed down on their burgers and set up their instruments. As they were doing so, a gentleman walked over to them. Thorn was so focused on setting them up, despite him seeing him walk over to her, it felt surprise to her when he tapped on their shoulder. Thorn worried that moment was going to be another Derek Johnson type experience, where the man invited them to the concert that they would have had to pay for. Hey, you're the Hex girls, right? The man inquired. He was wearing a gray button-up shirt and khakis. Well, that's what they call us, Thorn tried to joke, but realized it came off painfully awkward and confusing. She tried to refrain from blushing too much. I just heard your song on the radio and you've got an album coming out, the man replied. Congrats, that's a good accomplishment. I'll definitely be buying a copy on Friday. Oh, Thorn was so shocked to see that she didn't know what to say. She never had experienced that type of compliment from a stranger like that. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Good luck tonight. I'm excited for the concert, the man humbly said. As he walked away, he sat over to a booth where another man wearing a plaid shirt was sitting. That was really nice, Thorn smiled at their two bandmates, as if they were the only person who said anything to them at the concert. Thorn felt that it was satisfying the final concert to have before they put out their first album. Yeah, are we ready to play? Dusk inquired. Yep, are you? Luna looked over to Thorn. Thorn nodded as she picked up the guitar and turned to the audience. Hey everyone, this is a very special concert to us, because it's the final one before we release our very first album on Friday. A number of people began clapping, just like at Haley's. An older woman Thorn didn't recognize clapped especially passionately. We are going to play a bunch of songs that you can hear on our new album tonight. I hope you enjoy them, Luna announced, as she signaled for the other two to begin playing. It was rare for Luna to publicly speak, because she was so shy, but Thorn was happy that she felt comfortable enough too. Thorn closed her eyes and inhaled, and the green goers at Jack's clapped more enthusiastically than the usual for girls. Even though it was nothing lavish, this was still the best last concert before the album gift that she would have never gotten. You mean your dad actually gave you the day off tomorrow, just for our album? Luna inquired, slouching back a bit at the booth at Jack's. Yep, he said that I worked so hard and I deserve a day off to celebrate the album, Thorn responded, as she ate the last bite of the half turkey and cheese sandwich that she had packed. That's awesome. I wonder if I could get my dad to give me the day off, Luna chuckled. Ready to go to Gus's meeting? Dusk interposed as she rushed over to the girls' booth. We are, but you're not, Thorn responded, elaborating a bit when she saw the confused look on Dusk's face. You're still wearing that waitress outfit. Shit, Dusk realized, as she looked down to see the black-haired goth off commented was correct. The busy blonde hurried back to the kitchen, quickly changed out of her waitress outfit, which she had over her t-shirt. She quickly then returned to wearing her light blue coat. You heading out already, girls? Jack asked in surprise, before getting a look of sudden remembrance on his face. All right, you've got your meeting with Gus today, don't ya? Yep, Thorn confirmed. Wow, and this is your last meeting before the huge album. That's going to be exciting, Jack exclaimed. It is almost hard to believe, Dusk acknowledged. It still doesn't even feel real that we could have finished this album that we've been working on for so long. I can only imagine, Jack joyfully responded. Well, I won't keep you here any longer. I hope the meeting goes amazing. Thanks, Jack, Thorn said, once again out of the booth. She started to follow Luna and heading out the door, but it paused when Luna abruptly stopped. Oh my gosh, wait, I almost forgot, Luna gasped. Jack, we're having a party tonight to celebrate the album on coming out tomorrow. We'd love it if you came. Thorn was embarrassed, but she also almost totally forgotten that they hadn't invited Jack yet. Thorn and Luna had told their fathers while they worked, and just assumed that Dusk would take care of inviting Jack. Dusk had called her father, much to her chagrin, and given to invite him as well. The girls had planned to invite Gus while they met him. Well, Jack paused. It is Caitlin's night here. Sure, I'll call her and let her know I'll be leaving early today. I'll always support you girls. Aw, thanks, Jack, Thorn smiled. The party's at our apartment in Oak Haven Heights at 7. All right, I'll be there, Jack responded. Bye, Jack, Dusk waved, as 3 of the girls headed out to their meeting. You almost forgot to invite Jack? Luna inquired, once the door to Jack's had shut, so he couldn't hear them. Well, geez, sorry, Dusk snapped. It wasn't intentional or anything. I've just had a lot of orders today. No one's accusing you. Calm down, Luna assured. Sometimes Dusk could get a bit overly worked up about things. I wonder what Gus will want to talk about in today's meeting. Thorn tried to change the subject, to avoid the discomfort. As she got in the car with the other girls, turned on the vehicle, and began driving to Decade Records. I still can't believe that the last one before our release of our first album. Me neither. Luna shook her head in disbelief. This whole album release process went through so fast once we met Gus. He's certainly been the instrument to our success, that's for sure, Dusk agreed, before softening her tone. Sorry for snapping at you by the way. Oh, Luna was a bit caught off guard by Dusk's rare display of remorse. It's fine, I wasn't offended or anything. Thorn was quite heartwarmed by Dusk's apology. Generally, Dusk was quite closed off when it comes to such matters that she didn't apologize whenever she lost her temper. Perhaps living together for the past few months had made the girls' friendship even closer than it was before. Don't forget, we gotta go pick up groceries on the way home for the party. Dusk changed the subject. I was thinking we could pick up some fruit punch and an appetizer of sort. Carrots and dip, Luna offered. Oh, come on, we're releasing our first album. We're not going to a book club for old ladies. Dusk rolled her eyes at the red-headed Hex girl. I was thinking like chips and dip, sandwiches, cookies, you know, that kind of junk food. This is supposed to be our really special, so we deserve the plurge. Well, can we at least get a fruit platter, though? Luna asked. Ugh, fine, Dusk scoffed. We can have a fruit platter. Awesome, Luna smirked in satisfaction. Thorn pulled into the Decade Records parking lot, which was relatively empty today, compared to the usual. Only 4 cars were in the parking lot, one of which Thorn assumed that it had to be Gus's. Ah, shit, we forgot our instruments, Dusk realized. It's fine, Thorn said. I remembered, but I didn't think we need to bring them or anything. Gus probably just wants to talk about last-minute stuff of our album. As the girls walked into Decade Records, Thorn wondered that if the other 2 had the same feeling that she had. It was different for them. The other times she had walking into the building, it felt like almost a sense of fatality. She knew that she had other meetings along with Gus, but releasing their first album felt like an establishment to them as artists, and accomplish their goal that they had set out to achieve when Bridget told them that she could connect with them for her record-producing father.